Hi everyone, and welcome back to FPL Fix. As we look ahead to the first double game week of the season, we'll be reflecting on the top performers from game week 23 and identifying some key targets for the weeks ahead. I'm James, and joining me as always is the co-host of Wkend Fix, Patrick.
Hi everyone. This week the main focus will be on double game week 24. We will also be looking at trends, chip strategies and maximising your points potential.
So, whether you're looking to hold your position or trying to climb the ranks, we hope you find this episode helpful. Let's get into it. So how did you get on in game week 23, Patrick?
I did relatively well given the fact I didn't have Gapco. I got 74 points, which means I got a green arrow for the third week in a row. I beat the average by 15 points. For the first time in ages, my defence finally decided to show up. I got 22 points from 3 defenders and a goalkeeper. My continued faith in Onana paid off, even though he's widely mocked as a bad goalkeeper by the pundits and my co-host. He had a decent game, earning me 6 points. Kirkes and Gvardiol also had good performances, combining for a total of 14 points. My midfield was subpar this week. Ahmad, Bruno had modest returns with 3 points each. Palmer only got 2 points, and given how expensive he is at the moment, it's very difficult to accept mediocre returns. Salah was the only bright spot with 8 points. My attack, India, who I brought in for this game week, had good returns with 8 points. He could have gotten more, but he got a super controversial yellow card because of his celebration. My captain Isaac had an exceptional performance and got me 26 points. He was the most outstanding player in my team. Wood really struggled to have an impact on the game and only got 2 points. Overall, I'm happy with my score. However, there were a few players who underperformed, and I seriously need to consider if it's time to move off them for game week 24. So James, you were really confident going into last game week. And by saying confident, I'm being very polite, to be honest. How did you get on?
Yeah, thanks for that, Patrick. Well, despite my confidence, my team was underwhelming. I beat the average by a massive 1 point, but I ended up getting a small red arrow for the week. I was the wrong side of the Brighton-Everton match, as I chose to start João Pedro ahead of Michaelenko, and that cost me 5 points straight away. I had blanks from Castagne, Wood, Palmer and the already mentioned João Pedro, and that really didn't help my cause. Then I made the wrong captaincy decision. I picked Salah over Isaac, which resulted in me losing out on another 5 points. I had assists from Munoz, Trent and Gordon, and that softened the blow a bit, but it was a week to forget from my perspective. Due to the ownership of Salah and Isaac, my top performer was probably Raya with a big 9-pointer, which as we know is great for a goalkeeper. So that was my team. Now let's talk about the players who dominated this week. Here are the top performers. Okay, so starting with goalkeepers, top of the list was my goalkeeper, David Raya. He got a clean sheet, a save point for making 4 saves and got 2 bonus points, which was a great performance. Next was Edison. Interestingly, he got most of his points through an assist, which actually makes him the joint highest assisting goalkeeper in Premier League history. Kepa Arrizabalaga was third. He had a clean sheet plus save points. Then Onana.
Hold on. You're not allowed to talk about my goalkeeper. So let me take over. Onana had another epic performance with a clean sheet away from Fulham, proving his haters wrong. He got 6 points. And lastly, Pickford got 5 points. He should be someone managers should be thinking about, given the fact he's a double game week player and he's already returned those who have brought him in early.
Moving on to defenders, Lisandro Martinez was the top performer, with everything you could want from a defender really. He had a goal, a clean sheet and max bonus points. Emerson was next, who is really painful for me to see on this list, having sold him recently after countless disappointing performances which you'll remember. He got a goal and 2 bonus points in the last match. Saliba, he punished those who sold him. He got a clean sheet and max bonus points. Branthwaite and Maguire both had clean sheets with 2 bonus. And then Gvardiol, he was your pick.
Yeah, fun fact about Gvardiol, he's outscored Darwin Núñez this season in the Premier League. And he's continued to show why he's one of the top left backs in the world at the moment.
Okay, and next we have the midfielders, and pardon the pun, but Dango was unchained. He scored a brilliant hat-trick and amassed 21 points. He's a 5 million option who's playing as the number 9 for Bournemouth, who are in incredible goal-scoring form at the moment, and certainly worth a look at. Kluivert and Szoboszlai both scored 13 points. They both had a goal, an assist, clean sheet and 2 bonus points. Shard had a late header, He got a clean sheet and max bonus points, but he is yellow flagged, so wait for more information on him if he's in your plans. Then finally, Jacob Ramsey. He got a goal plus max bonus.
I'll be covering the strikers as 2 of my players made the list. Also, it's worth mentioning that every player on this list got maximum bonus points. Gapco was top of the charts with 16 points, really rewarding his new owners with 2 goals. Isaac, my captain, got 13 points. Third on the list is Haaland with 12 points. The OG himself, Vardy, got 9 points. And last place is India, who benefited from DCL's early injury, got 8 points. Okay, we've seen the stars, but our managers chasing last week's points or thinking long term. Let's discuss the most transferred in players and whether they're good investments.
Okay, starting with the players who were most transferred out. I know that you and me have both contributed to this list. You've sold Chris Wood ahead of this game week?
Yeah, I went with Gapco. Not really a surprise, he's trying to double up on some Liverpool assets.
And I've actually sold João Pedro and I've also gone for Gakpo. Similar reasoning to yourself. He was my third Liverpool asset. And Jimenez is one of the most transferred players out.
This is the first time I've actually been early. I transferred him last week for India.
Nice, so you got a couple of price rises on that move already.
Yeah, it's about time really, if I'm being honest.
We've also got Gordon on the list. Is that a surprise to you?
This was surprising, but I think people are selling him just to maybe bring in other Liverpool assets, but maybe even Mbeumo from Brentford.
Yeah, and Mbeumo has a great fixture coming up against a really leaky Tottenham team who've still got 12 first-team players out at the moment. And then Cole Palmer, the last player on this list, and that's someone that you've spoken about transferring out yourself. What's your thoughts on that?
I've been thinking about it for some time. He hasn't returned for 2 weeks straight, and he's so expensive at the moment. It's quite difficult to explain why you're holding such an expensive asset who doesn't return really.
Okay, looking at the players who've been most transferred in, and you and I have both contributed to this list, and we've spoken about a few of these options already. Gakpo is top of the transferred in, and we both agree on that and both made that move. And Dai, you transferred in early, and we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. And Trent, I brought in a couple of weeks ago. He scored 5 points for me with an assist last week, and I'm pretty confident with him moving forward. The only 2 players that we haven't spoken about are Cliver and Pickford. What are your thoughts on those players?
Cliver does feel like a knee-jerk reaction, but I said that last week and he proved me wrong. Even though he's got Liverpool coming up, he's got amazing fixtures after that, and also he's on penalties, so I can understand why managers are bringing him in. What do you think of Pickford?
Yeah, I think Pickford's a great option if people are looking for a goalkeeper. It's another double game week player, and he's probably one of the top few picks from Everton. Right, so those are the players that everyone wants. Patrick, have you splashed out on any of them? Let's have a look at your team reveal ahead of the game week.
Splashed out? What are you talking about? This stage you need loan spring in players. I haven't made that many changes to my team. I've only bought 2 players in. I've decided to stay with Onana against Crystal Palace at home. I brought in Michaelenko for the double game week. I've kept Kirkes despite the fact that he's facing Liverpool, purely because because of his attacking prowess. It's also the same reason why I've stayed with Gvardiol. My midfield hasn't changed. I thought about selling Bruno, but he's such a key player for Man United at the moment that I feel he should be involved in anything productive they do. Mo Salah has a double game week and he will also be my captain. I've given Palmer another chance against the leaky West Ham defence. If he fails to produce this week, he will definitely be sold. Another change is up front with Gakpo. I've stayed with India and Isaac. What are you thinking of doing?
Thanks, Patrick. I'm still not entirely convinced by Ndai, despite his return last week, but let me show you how great my team looks. I've been tempted to transfer Flecken to Pickford, but as it would mean taking a hit, I'm not confident enough that Pickford will beat either of my goalkeeper options by 4 points, so I'll most likely be starting Raya in goal. 2 of my 3 starting defenders have double game weeks in Trent and Michaelenko, so they both look great. My third playing defender is a differential pick, but looks fantastic in my opinion. He's scored in his last 2 matches and plays an Ipswich team who've conceded the 3rd highest amount of goals in the league and who are scoring less than a goal per game on average. So Bednarak looks a great pick. There's a fair chance of a goal, a clean sheet, or even hopefully both. In midfield, I'm starting Rodgers and hoping he can continue his great form following his Champions League hat-trick last night. I've got Anthony Gordon at home to Fulham, Palmer at home to West Ham, and I've got the armband on Salah with the triple captainship activated. I don't love the fixtures for Salah, but with my current strategy and with limited double game week opportunities in the future, I've decided that this is the week for me. My strikers are Isak and Chris Wood, who both have decent looking home fixtures, and finally Gakpo, who I think we've covered enough in this episode already. So that's my team, and I don't think I'll be making any other moves before the game week, but let's have a look at the best double game week options in case any of our viewers are still waiting to make that move. Okay, we all know the two teams that are doubling next week, which is Everton and Liverpool. We've got on screen the top picks in each position for both teams. We've discussed Pickford already in goal, but I think Alisson's definitely an option if you need to pick up a goalkeeper and shouldn't go completely under the radar. Okay, and then the top three Liverpool picks in my opinion are Trent in the defensive position, Gakpo in the striker position, and everyone's got Salah at this point. Is there anyone else on this list that you think might be worth considering?
Michaelenko is another great asset to target in defence of 4.4. In midfield, I'll probably also advise looking at Diaz and Szoboszlai. But if you want a true differential, I'd probably say Doucouré at 5.1. Now, let's look at a single game week targets.
Okay, all the top picks in each position are on screen, but I want to focus on the midfielders in this section, as I honestly believe there are some fantastic options for the upcoming weeks. Brentford and Bournemouth both have great fixture runs starting from game week 25, and neither of them blank in 29, so those would be my top picks. While Unai is likely out for the rest of the season, and Evan Nielsen has an unknown return date, Dango Otara looks like a great pickup, even if it does look a bit knee-jerky following his hat-trick. Semenyo and Cliver offer great value and potential too, and Mbeumo has been relentless all season and has amassed 147 points so far with no signs of slowing down, and ahead of his fixture run is definitely worth looking at. His next game is against a relegation-threatened Spurs side who are still completely exposed defensively due to their massive injury list. Personally, I wouldn't want the Bournemouth players in just yet ahead of the Liverpool fixture, but given the form they've been in, it would be no surprise to see them return. Does anyone else interest you in this list, Patrick?
Duran possibly leaving for Saudi might be good for Wkend's minutes, so the Aston Villa striker might be someone to watch out for. Lastly, Kirkes has been a brilliant asset since I picked him up in game week 15. After a slightly slow start, he's now got me a massive 26 points in the last 4 weeks, making him one of my most reliable defenders.
Okay, we've discussed all the players now, so let's have a look at the bigger picture in our last section on chip strategy. Now, I don't want to go on about this too much, as everyone is talking about this topic right now, but I think it's really important for you to have an idea of when you're going to use your chips. We have 2 definite blank game weeks confirmed so far, in 29 and 34, and we also have confirmed double game weeks in 33 and 36, with only very slight potential for there to be any others added. With my strategy, and as seen earlier, I've already activated the triple captain chip this week on Salah. What's your thoughts and plans for the chips, Patrick?
I've decided to be more conservative with regards to the system manager chip. I've already got 4 players with a double game week, and I've also used a triple captain chip earlier this season. Also, given this is the first game week the system manager chip can be used, I want to learn more before I can make a decision.
Okay, that's a great point, Patrick. The assistant manager chip is now available and will be activated by a number of managers going into this game week, mostly choosing between Moyes and Slot to maximise potential with the additional fixture. If you are planning on using the chip, here's a few things to take note of. Make sure you update your app or make your moves on a desktop for this game week due to the glitches in the app which many have been suffering with already. The assistant manager chip can't be used at the same time as any other chips, so when you do activate it, there's no wildcard, bench boost, free hit or triple captain available for those 3 game weeks. Your assistant manager counts towards your quota of players that you're allowed in your team, so if you already have 3 Liverpool players, then you can't pick up Slot, for example. And once the chip is activated and you've selected your assistant manager, even if you want to change your mind on who to pick before the deadline, it will cost you a transfer, unlike when you use your free hit or wildcard. You can swap the manager between game weeks, but it will cost the transfer to do so. And that's all for this episode of FPL Fix. We hope this was useful and contributes to your triple figure scores this week.
Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Let us know your chip strategy and game week plans in the comments, and if you do want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.